complete sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 60s to right near 70 degrees. Overnight tonight, not quite as chilly as last night. We'll bottom out in the 50s before another rise into the mid-70s for your Tuesday. No rain is in our forecast here until we lead our way into the upcoming weekend. Late Saturday into Sunday, the next batch of showers and possible storms.
This is VFL Craig Colquitt. Clean Heart Christian Ministry in Sparta hosts a veteran outreach program on the fourth Friday of each month. It starts at 9 a.m. This is a coffee break and a social time for veterans, and this is a non-government affiliated. Clean Heart Christian Ministries also brings in attorneys to help with simple wills and can help our veterans with finding jobs. Clean Heart Christian Ministries is located at 17 East Maple Street in Sparta. You may call us at 931-837-5050.
Hello, everyone. This is Chad Graves on Behind the Mic on 97.7 WBMC, and I'm here with a very special guest, Matt Colvard. Is it Colvard? Colvard. All right, Matt Colvard. So Matt is the Deputy District Attorney, currently Deputy District Attorney underneath Chris Stanford. But Chris Stanford has resigned as of October 31st. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So, Matt, I want you to tell us all about yourself, your family, your history, how you got to be in the position that you are now, and just, all of the details behind your life.
Okay.
But we only have an hour.
I was born here in 1968 and went to school here. Graduated Warren County Senior High in 1986. Then I went to University of Tennessee, Knoxville for college. Got an Army scholarship. Went into the Army after I graduated.
So what made you decide to go into the military?
I wanted to do something exciting, maybe working in the government, and that seemed like the place to be. I also wanted to give back to my country, so I joined up after college. Was an infantry officer. Went to Fort Benning for training, and then to a place called Baumholder, Germany, where I was stationed in Germany for 3 years. After that, the Army saw fit to put me in military intelligence, so I went, instead of going back to the infantry school at Fort Benning, I went to Fort Huachuca, Arizona, out in the middle of the desert, out in the middle of nowhere south of Tucson, and studied intelligence collection techniques and activities for about a year, and then I was assigned to Fort Bragg, and kind of funny story about that. Like I said, I'd been in the infantry for 4 years. After going through intelligence training, I was really looking forward to sitting in the bottom of the Pentagon looking at satellite photos or listening to signal intercepts or something of that nature. And they said, well, you're going to Fort Bragg. And I said, okay, well, there's 525 Military Intelligence Brigade. That'll be great. And they said, no, you're going to the 82nd Airborne. So I went from the infantry sort of back to the airborne infantry, but as an intelligence officer, doing tactical intelligence.
So did you learn how to shoot a rifle there?
Oh yeah, as an infantry officer, we basically had to qualify expert with practically every weapon in the inventory. I was given an M16A1 from Vietnam, and the sear gave out right in the middle of my qualification, and it started firing fully automatic on its own, which the people running the range didn't find very funny. So I had to get another rifle, and they wouldn't let me zero it. So basically, about 2 Saturdays in a row, I had to go to the range and do Kentucky windage until I figured out where this rifle was firing, until I could qualify expert with it, and then not have to go to the rifle range every Saturday. But yeah, as an infantry officer, you qualify with everything from an M7 bayonet up to a tow missile. So.
Wow. So sorry, I distracted you when you started to tell about your life and what you've done and why you're in the position that you are now.
Well, I was at Fort Bragg with the 82nd Airborne. Did that for about 3 years. Fortunately, at that time, it was, I guess, a quiet time before 9/11. There wasn't a whole lot going on. So I decided maybe I could do something else. So I decided to go to law school. I went back to University of Tennessee to the law school there in Knoxville. Stayed in the reserves. Was actually a combat engineer company commander for the reserves while I was in law school. Went down to El Salvador, took a group to El Salvador, and did some humanitarian service, winning hearts and minds down there one summer after a hurricane came through. Then after graduating law school, I sent out applications to be a prosecutor basically all over Middle Tennessee, and wound up going to work in Franklin and Williamson County for the 21st Judicial District, Hickman, Lewis, Perry, and Williamson counties. So that was a really good experience working for a guy named Ron Davis, who's the DA there.
Of all the different types of law, why being a prosecutor?
Being a prosecutor it's a little different from being a regular attorney. This is going to sound corny, but a defense attorney or a regular attorney hired by somebody, their duty is to the client only. Their duty is to do the best job for their client no matter what. Basically only restrained by the ethics rules and the rules of court. But other than that, they can do basically whatever for the benefit of their client. As a prosecutor, your duty is to seek the truth, to seek justice, to do justice, and that appealed to me, to be more than just an attorney representing somebody.
So, to seek justice for the victims of the crimes.
The victims, or in victimless crimes, for the state of Tennessee, for the people as a whole.
Ah, okay. So, tell us about your family, because I know that don't know that much about you, but I know you've got twin daughters.
I do. I'm married to the former Penny Bost. She's the daughter of Doug and Becky Bost. We have two daughters, Claire and Ella. They are they're 20. They're twins, and one is at Tennessee Tech for engineering, and one is at MTSU for speech pathology.
You know, I started out at Tennessee Tech in engineering, and I did not do very well in school there because it was so difficult. So
Ella showed me one of her math problems, and I was like, this isn't real. This is just just something somebody made up. This can't be real. Well,
if she can do that work in the engineering program at Tech, then she's obviously got a smarter brain than I have, because I couldn't do it. It was too hard.
It's way beyond my capabilities for mathematics.
All right. So Ella's at Tech and Claire is at MTSU. Is that right?
Yes.
So Claire's going to school to be a speech pathologist at
Yes,
MTSU.
She sure is.
So they decided to go to different schools. Why is that?
MTSU has a really good speech pathology program that Claire was interested in, and Ella Tech, as you know, has a really good engineering program, and she wanted to go there. It would have been great if they could have wound up at the same school, but that's not how it worked out. They went to different schools because each one is sort of famous for that program. Mm-hmm.
So do you have any other children?
No.
So you're an empty nester now.
Somewhat. I'm lucky in that they come home. They come home every other weekend or every weekend. Sometimes it's we're not completely.
Yeah. So a pretty close family. You know,
Yes.
The kids still like to see you.
Right. Yeah, I'm lucky there.
Yeah, that's great. That is great. So you were mentioning to me earlier that you're still helping to put together furniture.
Yeah, that's what I was doing last night, from about 8 to 9 o'clock, putting together a couch for Ella at Tech.
So were you in Cookeville?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So you were actually up in Cookeville helping to put together the furniture.
Sure was.
Well, so that's great. So and I know Doug and Becky. They've been friends of my parents for a long time. I think Doug is an elder at Central Church. And is that where you guys go to church as well?
It is. Yeah. Doug's not currently an elder there now, but he was for a long time. Did a great job.
Yeah.
I know your father as well.
Yes. Mom and Dad have been going to Bobby's for ever since since 1975 or 6 or something like that. Before I was born, I think. I don't know, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. I knew them then, and he also moved us a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dad was telling me that you've had several moves, and he's moved you, I don't know, he told me at least 3 times.
Yeah, from Fort Bragg to Spring Hill, from Spring Hill to Franklin, and from Franklin to McMinnville. So.
Yeah. All right, so Matt, the music's coming on, so it's time for us to take our first break. But when we come back, I want to learn a little more about your military service and some things that you have done in the military, because you started to tell me some interesting stories earlier, and I wanted to hear a little more about that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to learn a little more about Matt here on 97.7 WBMC.
Hi, I'm Brian Covert from Viola's Pizza Company. In a small town like ours, we rely on each other. Businesses working together and neighbors supporting neighbors. That's why I'm proud to be a member of the McMinnville-Warren County Chamber of Commerce. They help remind people that we're here, serving up handcrafted pizzas while making our community stronger. At Viola's Pizza Company, we believe a rising tide lifts all boats and maybe a few pizzas too. Visit us in Viola or find us on Facebook. Thanks to the Chamber for helping us thrive.
This is Chris at Reddick Brown Ford in Morrison. We believe car buying should be simple. No gimmicks, no pressure. Just the largest selection of new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs at the best prices. Our team puts you first, making sure your experience is easy, fast, and stress-free. Come see why more drivers are choosing Reddick Brown Ford. Because when the customer comes first, everything else falls into place. Visit us today or check us out online, reddickbrownford.com, where car buying is simple.
At Ben Lomond Connect, we are blessed to hear so many positive comments on the great internet connections that we provide. But behind those multi-gig fiber connections stand great teams. Teams that work with the public daily, like our customer service reps, install repair guys, and the local 24/7 customer support center. To others that work behind the scenes, like accounting, engineering, central office, and more. As our CEO likes to say, it takes all of us. If you haven't joined our Ben Lomond Fiber family, we would love to serve you. Call your local BLC office today or go to benlomondconnect.com. Great teams, great connections, Ben Lomond Connect.
Where can you go to spend some quality up-close and personal time alone with none other than 3 Star Cinema? Head over to the most affordable and convenient place in town, featuring the latest releases fresh on the silver screen. 3 Star Cinema.
Now showing Roofman, rated R. Black Phone 2, rated R. Tron Eras, rated PG-13. Truth and Treason, rated PG-13. Gabby's Dollhouse the Movie, rated G. And The Conjuring Last Rites, rated R.
Sparta Street, McMinnville. 3 Star Cinema, where the stars come out at night.
Every day, banks touch every corner of our lives. Let me, Sabrina Keaton, help you turn your life goals into accomplishments. Here at Security Federal Savings Bank, we can assist you with buying a car, debt consolidation, purchasing a home, or remodeling your current home. Whatever your needs are, we will keep it simple at Security Federal Savings Bank. We look forward to serving you and building relationships that last generations. Security Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Why don't you head over to Chicken Chef and enjoy a fresh made-to-order meal, or choose from the all-time favorite like the Chicken Nugget Dinner. Stop in for breakfast, order right off the menu with sausage, gravy, fresh homemade biscuits, or try their delicious tenderloin, egg, and cheese biscuit, just to name a few. Whatever your taste buds call for, you're sure to find it at Chicken Chef. They've been serving Warren and surrounding counties for over 40 years. Stop in today, Chicken Chef on the Strip in McMinnville. You can call your order in to go at 473-5020.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic. We are sitting down with Matt Culver. He is the Deputy District Attorney for the 31st Judicial District. So, Matt, what is the 31st Judicial District?
It is Van Buren and Warren counties.
Okay. So, John Parton told me, I don't know, it wasn't a funny story. It just seemed like a factual story of how we were able to even have the 31st Judicial District, and that was kind of interesting. I'm sure you know the background there.
Yeah, somewhat. There was an attorney here that apparently didn't like Judge Haston very well, and he was on the committee in the legislature and was actually able to break up the 17th Judicial District into the 17th and the 31st, and to try to avoid Judge Haston. I don't know why he would do that or whatever, but the case that involved a certain guy that was accused of a crime that he was representing at that time, he's still around. So every time we see him in court, it's like, well, there's the father of the 31st Judicial District.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Well, I guess kind of funny.
Kind of.
Yeah. All right, so before the break, we were talking a little about your family and the family background there. So when you're not in court, what does your family time look like?
Generally, whatever the girls want to do, pretty much, when they're in. Try to make it about them, so if they want to do something, that's what we're doing. Or I spend a lot of time going between Cookeville and Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm. Well, spending time with the kids is very important to you. All right, so let's jump into your military background. So you served as a judge advocate, also known as JAG. I know that there was a popular TV show called JAG.
We don't really get to fly planes.
That's I guess it's still fun, but maybe not as much fun than flying the planes, right? So, judge advocate in the U.S. Army, and we talked about your you wanting to join the military. You just wanted to do something more for, I guess, the country, or what was the driving factor there?
I really don't have a good answer other than I wanted to do something exciting and something for the country, and the Army was hiring.
Right. So this was before you even thought about going to law school.
Right. Yeah. I was an infantry officer. I was a rifle platoon leader with armored personnel carriers, and then I was when we got the Bradley fighting vehicle, which is kind of doing so well in Ukraine right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting kind of famous from how many Russian tanks it's taking out in Ukraine. I was on one of those, had a platoon, 4 of those, and then I was a rifle company executive officer with Bradley. So we had 14 in the company. I did that in Germany for 3 years, and then was military intelligence for basically about 8 or 9 years after that, in the reserve and active duty. 3 years active with the 82nd, like I was telling you. And then in the reserves, I was still a military intelligence officer. But I went to Fort Benning in 2003. I got mobilized after 9/11. 9/11 was sort of a seismic tectonic shift for National Guard and the reserves. I was in the reserves, but we were activated. The unit I was in, sent to Fort Benning, basically wound up the unit running Fort Benning somewhat, assisting in the running of Fort Benning, and processing soldiers to deploy. I actually wound up, besides doing, and I was still a military intelligence officer at this time, but I had a law degree, and I'd been working as a lawyer. So I was lucky enough, I wound up being the special assistant U.S. attorney for Fort Benning, which what that means is every military post has an Army officer that's cross-appointed with the Department of Justice to be a special assistant U.S. attorney for that federal property. The state doesn't have jurisdiction over a military base because it's federal property. So instead of having a federal prosecutor deal with the fort, they have an Army guy or Navy or Marines, whatever it is, whatever the installation may be, get cross-appointed. You put on a suit, you go to federal court, you prosecute crimes that happen on the post.
So you were actually deployed to Iraq.
Right.
So when was that?
About 2007. I was on vacation, and I found out that our commander was changing, and that sort of gave me an indication something was up. And then I found out, along with everybody else in the unit, that we were going to be mobilized and then deployed to Iraq. So about the end of 2007, we started training. We got just a few days off for Christmas and New Year's. Then the training started for real at Camp Atterbury at Indiana. They sent us the coldest place in the United States for some reason to train for the desert. But Camp Atterbury in the winter is about 0 degrees, to 20 maybe. And we did the pre-deployment training that every unit has to do, and then went to Kuwait for a couple of days, and then we were in Iraq for 10 months after that.
So you were telling a pretty interesting story to me earlier about, I guess, part of your job in Iraq and what you were doing, like one of the things that you had to do.
Well, I had doing legal reviews of any purchases over $10,000. So anything that was purchased, repaired, or constructed, if it was over $10,000.
Seems like that'd be a lot of things.
A lot of things. It was. It was. The biggest project we worked on was a hospital that was going to be built in Baghdad that ultimately I don't think it was after we left. To the electrification of the post, we were running off generators everywhere, which is not really efficient. And if you're going to be somewhere for a while, you need to build a power plant. So basically they did, and we were doing legal reviews about the power plant. The T-walls, we were buying hundreds of these 12-foot tall, 2-foot thick concrete walls. They're shaped like an upside-down T, so it's called a T-wall. My claim to fame is the American Sniper movie where the guys are getting shot, unhooking the T-wall, and the U.S. deployed snipers to shoot the snipers, shooting the guys unhooking the T-wall from the cranes. My whole part in that was I bought the T-wall. I did the legal review that said, yes, we can use Operations and Maintenance Army OMA funds to buy this T-wall. And we bought thousands of them, even put them around the neighborhood to keep trying to keep the Shia and the Sunni apart, keep them from killing each other.
So is there a specific moment that is, I guess, really memorable for you about your deployment there?
Well, I'll tell you, it's memorable. It's not happy. But about 2 weeks into the deployment, after you do a side-by-side with the unit you're replacing, and our unit that we were replacing had just left. And they teach you, when mortars or rockets come in, you seek a shelter. If you can get to the shelter, get in it. If you can't, just get down. Well, we had a parking lot not far from where my office was, and we had a barrage of rockets come in, and a young man was in that parking lot, and apparently he had just been in country, and apparently he didn't pay attention or what, but didn't think it was real. I don't know what or why he didn't get down, but he got hit by a rocket. So I was one of the first people there to take care of him until we could get real medical personnel there. But you kind of, in the middle of a barrage, when you've only been there for 2 weeks, you're like, why are they shooting at me? I just got here. You know, I haven't done anything to anybody. I just got here. And you realize, that's a crazy thought, but it doesn't hit you until it's over with.
Wow, that you really are in a combat zone, and
Yeah.
you have to. It's like there's a chance I could get killed here.
Yeah, and we got rocketed at the first, rocketed or mortared pretty much every week. Towards the end, the surge was basically successful a little bit in Baghdad, and we pushed insurgents. Unfortunately, a lot of them went north to Mosul. However, the rocketing and the mortars on us sort of slacked off a little bit towards the end of 2008.
So you were an attorney at this time.
I was.
And you were also mentioning to me about some criminals that you were prosecuting there as well. Is that right?
The other probably more exciting part of my job, basically doing legal reviews on anything purchased, advising the commander any legal questions they had, advising the military police questions they had, and then probably the most exciting thing I did was doing prosecutions of civilians. And there were a ton of civilians running around accompanying the force. Accompanying the force is sort of the term that gives us jurisdiction over a civilian contractor that happens to be in a war zone. And some of these were Americans, some of these were Iraqis working for American companies. Some of these were Iraqis that were actually recruited inside the U.S. So
you were prosecuting Americans and Iraqis that, but they were actually working for the U.S., right?
Yes.
So, and you were telling me a story about, I guess, one guy that you had to prosecute or were working towards prosecuting that was stealing from other Iraqi families.
Yeah, we had L3 Communications was a company that paid for, hired most of the contractors, and when one of their or interpreters, and when one of their interpreters was killed on operations or however, they would make a gift to the family of $10,000. And this guy's job was to be the go-between and give the family the $10,000 and say, on behalf of the United States and L3 Communications, we're sorry for the loss of your son, and here's some money. Well, he would do that, but then he would come back a week or two later and say, I'm sorry, we overpaid you. We need 1,000 of that back. So this guy was skimming money off of dead interpreters' families. And we found out about it, and he'd done it to about 8 to 10 families, and we started investigating him.
Right, so you were working towards prosecuting him. All right, so, but Alyssa is bringing in the music again, so it's time for us to take another break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little more about, I guess, your role inside the district attorney's office as well, and maybe talk a little more about your experience there in Iraq and your deployment. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little more with Matt Culver. You're listening to 97.7 WBMC.
Talk Radio WBMC News is next.
It's time for some more great weekly specials from our friends at Warehouse Discount Groceries. Now listen to these. 24-pack can Sundrop Dr. Pepper 7-Up A&W or RC, $9.99. 24-ounce Hunt's pasta sauce, 10-ounce Campbell's chicken noodle soup or tomato soup, 16-ounce Pick Sweet Golden or white cream-style corn, plus 15-ounce Hunt's Manwich, all 5 for $5. And fresh 80% lean ground chuck family pack, just $4.99. All these great deals and more from our friends at Warehouse Discount Groceries.
In the Main Street Journal News, the Pregnancy Care Center of McMinnville will host its annual fundraiser, More Than Imagined, A Harvest of Hope, on Thursday, October 23rd from 5:30 p.m. at the Warren County Farmers Market Pavilion. The event will feature dinner, fellowship, and a silent auction to support the center's mission of helping women and families facing unplanned pregnancies. The Pregnancy Care Center provides free pregnancy testing, ultrasounds, parenting classes, and essential supplies for babies and toddlers. Tickets are $50 each and can be purchased through Venmo using the event flyer QR code or at the center's office at 101 Magnus Drive, open Mondays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Organizers say the fundraiser helps sustain the center's outreach throughout the year. Local churches and businesses are also sponsoring the event to ensure more of the proceeds go directly toward client care. More local news is just a click away at mainstreetjournal.llc. Until next time, I'm Rob Nunley.
Ascension St. Thomas River Park is here to listen to you because caring for you is our number one priority. Ascension Care Teams start by understanding you, your health, and your life to deliver care that's right for you. Now offering cardiac CT angiography services, a non-invasive cardiac exam that looks at the blood vessels that supply blood to the heart and can detect if plaque has narrowed the coronary arteries. The compassionate, personalized care you've come to expect is right here in McMinnville. We're more than just a hospital, ER, and a clinic. We want to give you hope, health, and strength.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. A fall afternoon ahead of us here. Complete sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 60s to right near 70 degrees. Overnight tonight, not quite as chilly as last night. We'll bottom out in the 50s before another rise into the mid-70s for your Tuesday. No rain is in our forecast here until we lead our way into the upcoming weekend. Late Saturday into Sunday, the next batch of showers and possible storms.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic. We are sitting down with Matt Culvert. And, Matt, we talked a little bit about Chris Stanford's resignation on October 31st. We have to have a district attorney on November the 1st. Who is that going to be, and how does this process work?
Well, let me say this. I don't think there's any experts in this field of what happens when a DA resigns. But as I understand it, since we do have to have somebody in the position November 1st, it will be the circuit judge's duty to appoint someone at that time. That appointment will be good only until the governor makes up his mind and appoints somebody. Under the Tennessee Constitution, the governor is the final say. However, we have to have somebody in the role on November 1st. So Judge Bart Stanley will pick first. I'm hoping that's me. Then that whoever is picked will be there in the role until the governor makes his decision. Then once that's announced, that guy will be that person will be the interim district attorney. So you could have two different interims.
So technically, so is Judge Stanley going to make an appointment, or could Governor Lee go ahead and make the appointment now?
Theoretically, Governor Lee could speed up his time frame and make an appointment by the 1st. I'm not with the governor's office, so I don't know what he's going to do. It would prevent a situation where Judge Stanley decides one thing and then the governor decides something else later on if the governor did accelerate his time frame. But that's a question for the governor's office. I don't know if he's planning to do that or not, or if we're going to have kind of what I think is going to happen is the judge of the district, which we're sort of unusual. We only have one circuit judge or chancellor, and it's Judge Stanley, Bart Stanley. Most places there's 3 or 4 judges, and they would sort of hold a conclave and decide who they pick to be the DA. In this situation, unless the governor makes a decision by November 1st, it's going to be Judge Stanley.
So I assume that this is on Governor Lee's radar right now. He knows that this is going on. It's obviously, not too far away from Nashville, so he understands what's going on.
Yes.
So I guess, have we heard from him at all? Does he nothing at this point?
He's working on it. I know that much. It seems like his Office of Legal Counsel is sort of in charge of this, but as far as when he's going to make an appointment, I couldn't tell you. I don't think anybody could, except maybe possibly his Office of Legal Counsel or the governor himself, but he's not saying right now.
Right. So he just hasn't made any kind of statement or announcement or anything of when he expects to make this appointment.
Not that I know of. I know he has asked for applications, but when he's going to make his selection, that's only he knows that.
And there's no real time frame in which because at some point in time I heard someone say that he's got 60 days or 2 months, but we don't really know if that's really the case, right?
I haven't been able to find anything that says that. I mean, I think it's in his best interest to pick someone sooner rather than later, but as far as what kind of time frame he's going to work off of, I don't know.
So, and Matt, you said that you would like to get that that position. So,
right.
Will you tell us, like, why do you want that, and do you think that you're the best person for the job?
Well, the office needs stability. The office has it's gone through an election where one DA leaves and another DA comes in, and now that DA is leaving. So it's been through a lot of leadership changes. They need stability. They need someone that they can trust, someone from within the office. I've been there for 13, 14 years. I know the job. I was a prosecutor before that. I've been a military prosecutor. I'm ready to go right now. There won't be a long spooling up phase or a time to get ready. I'm ready to hit the ground running. And I think the people there trust me. They know what they're getting.
So you've been through, I guess I shouldn't say it that way, but you've been a part of 2 different district attorneys already. So you started working
here,
here.
Three
okay.
total.
All right. So that you're right. So you've worked for 3 different DAs.
Mm-hmm.
So you understand how the different offices work.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I know what right looks like. I know. I know what needs to be happening, and I was in Franklin. I did some serious cases in circuit for a while. Then the DA there said, "Hey, we're going to what's called horizontal prosecutions, where we have a team that does general sessions work, and we have a team that does circuit. What do you want to do?" I said, "I'll take general sessions," and then I was the head of the general sessions unit in Franklin. So you can imagine how busy that is compared to possibly McMinnville or somewhere else. I mean, we were pretty big city, obviously. So I've done that before as a leader, and I've worked here for 13 years, so I know the job.
So would you expect to get, I guess, a decision before the 31st, or do you think that it's going to wait until that day?
If I had to guess, and this is strictly just me guessing, I think the governor's probably going to make an announcement sometime around the 15th of November, maybe. I wish I did know. It would make my life much easier if I knew, but
so this process, so Judge Stanley is likely going to make a decision on or around the 31st, and you want Judge Stanley to pick you for that position, right?
Right.
So, and you've been in this office for 13 or 14 years now.
Right.
So all of the staff seem to know you pretty well.
They do. And
would you think that the staff would give you their support?
Well, they have. They offered to write Judge Stanley and say, "Hey, we'd like to keep Culvert as our guy through this, as our acting DA, interim DA, whatever you want to call it." So hopefully he'll take their wishes into consideration. And I can't say it's every one of them, but the vast majority of them, signed a letter asking that I stay on.
So I know that we obviously have challenges in Warren County, and we all see it. We all know someone that is plagued by some, I guess, addiction problems. Would you say that is the biggest issue that we face now?
Yes, in Warren County, we do still have a methamphetamine problem. We've got a fentanyl problem. We probably have a higher occurrence than normal of violent crimes. So all of those things are problems that the district faces, Warren and Van Buren.
All right. Well, Matt, we've got the music coming on, so we need to take one more break. But when we come back, I want to talk about these issues and see what you will do to try and improve our community by, I guess, prosecuting these crimes.
Sounds
All right.
good.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Chad Graves, and I'm sitting down with Matt Culver on 97.7.
Got a sweet tooth? Oh, Sugar's got the fix. Sip wild, dirty sodas, slurp dreamy milkshakes, and snag a $1.99 Kid Scoops every day. Craving more? Check out our fresh daily baked goods and custom sweet orders made to wow. It's flavor, fun, and a full-on sugar rush. Only at Oh Sugar, where every treat's a party and every visit's a blast. Come get your happy on. Only at Oh Sugar.
Go Vols! Just like Tennessee football, moving takes teamwork, strength, and a game plan. At McMinnville Moving and Storage, we bring all three to every move, keeping it fast, stress-free, and done right. Local, in-state, or out-of-state, our team has your back every step of the way. So while the Vols fight for every yard, let us do the heavy lifting for you. Call 931-473-2805 today. McMinnville Moving and Storage, your hometown movers and proud supporters of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Prater Realty and Auction is proud to announce our annual Fall Consignment Equipment Auction now at our new and permanent location. Join us Saturday, October 25th at 9 a.m. at the corner of Senator Jerry Cooper Highway and Dixie Hill Road in McMinnville, Tennessee. This auction features Ben Lomond Cooperative surplus equipment along with 2 partial estates and a wide variety of quality consignments. For photos and a partial list of equipment, visit www.praterrealty.com or call Prater Realty and Auction at 931-474-3715. That's Prater Realty and Auction, the old-time auction company with no buyer's premium.
I'm Tim Hitchcock, inviting you to join me every Tuesday at 5 for Hey Hey Hitchcock, proudly presented by Farm Credit Mid-America. We're talking everything green, from backyard gardening tips to big ag insights, plus special guests from right here in the nursery capital of the world. Tune in on 97.7 WBMC every Tuesday at 5 or catch us streaming live on Facebook. Also available on YouTube.
At Pioneer Building Supply, we're your one-stop shop for lumber, tools, and building supplies. Whether you're tackling a major renovation or just need a few materials for a small project, we've got you covered. From framing to finishing touches, we have the products and expertise to help you get the job done right. Stop by and see us today at 231 Northgate Drive, Suite 250, McMinnville, or give us a call at 931-473-7777. Our friendly, knowledgeable team is always ready to help you with whatever you need for your next project. For 50 years, Pioneer Building Supply has been the trusted name in construction materials. We've built our reputation on quality, service, and the commitment to your success. Pioneer Building Supply, building your dreams since 1975.
Pioneer Building Supply.
Pioneer Building Supply, where good business make good friends.
Pioneer Building Supply.
Welcome back to Behind the Mic with Chad Graves. I am sitting down with Matt Culver, who is the Deputy District Attorney for the 31st Judicial District. So, Matt, can you just tell us, what do you do inside the District Attorney's office? And I guess, what does the District Attorney's office do?
The District Attorney's office prosecutes crime in the name of the state of Tennessee. We prosecute all sorts of crimes in General Sessions Court, Circuit Court in both Warren and Van Buren counties. We coordinate with the state AG's office to continue these prosecutions if they are appealed. But basically, any crime, we prosecute it in court. The other thing we do is child support enforcement. They're sometimes overlooked or forgotten, and they shouldn't be. But they are the office that gets money out of deadbeat parents that don't want to support their children. So they enforce child support orders issued by the court, and they do a great job of it.
So it's prosecution and the child support division. Is that right?
Yes.
Are there other services that are offered out of the district attorney's office?
Well, we do a lot of stuff in furtherance of those two, but that's basically what we do. We have victim witness coordinators that meet with victims and explain what they're going to face in court and how to get through that, help them through that stressful time. We have investigators that help us with cases. But as far as what the public sees, that's our two main missions right there.
How many people are currently staffed at the DA's office?
24. We've got some vacancies, and we could go up to about 27, but right now we're at 24.
So, do you feel like you need additional staff right now, or
yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Because is it just the caseload that you have?
The caseload covering 2 counties. I mean, we're allotted those people by the state, so we need them.
All right. So right before our break, we talked about some of the issues that we're faced with in our community right now. So we have addiction, we have youth issues, or is there something else that is our biggest problems in our community?
Well, methamphetamine and fentanyl are the 2 biggest drugs. Violence, like I said, we're probably just a little bit above average for violent crimes. And a lot of this goes back to, I mean, if you remember back in the 80s, if you can remember back that far.
I was a little young then, but.
Well, in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Back, I think it started in the 90s when the factories started leaving. And a lot of the good jobs left McMinnville, and they unfortunately haven't been replaced. I'm not going to blame crime on that, but that is a component. Any decent criminologist is going to tell you that when people are depressed because they don't have a good job, they're more likely to commit a crime. So what we have to do is get people off the methamphetamine, get them off the fentanyl, and get them to work. And there's some key components to that. One is treatment. We have to have things like the drug court, which does a good job. We have to have probation department that actively tests these people for substances. We've got to see who wants to be rehabilitated and who can be rehabilitated, and do that and help them get back to being a successful member of society. And a big part of that is a job. You know, we've got generational criminals that they don't have a job. Their father never had a job. It's time for those people to get to work. If you're going to be on probation, you need to have a job. The other thing about this is the people that just will not rehabilitate, don't want to be rehabilitated, or will not take steps to get off the methamphetamine, the fentanyl, whatever. If they don't want to be rehabilitated, then it's time for them to be removed from society for a while, and that's where the Tennessee Department of Correction or the prisons come in. You know, at a certain point, you've done all you can to rehabilitate somebody, then it's time for them to go on off to prison for a while.
Do you see the same individuals in court frequently, or I mean, I guess I'm asking, do we have repeat offenders pretty often in our court system?
We do, and I think some of that is people relapse. People can't find a good job, or don't find a good job, or won't find a good job, and they go back to criminal behavior. But yes, we do see, and that's just sort of the nature of the beast. You can't pick who's successfully rehabilitated out by looking at them. So some slip through, but the ones that are continuously committing crimes and not being not able to be rehabilitated, they need to go to prison, and that's.
So, at the end of the interim term, we're going to have a special election next year. What do you want to happen at that special election next year?
Well, I want to get elected.
All right.
I'd like to continue in the job. I'm hoping to get through the appointment process and be in the job, stay there till the election, and hopefully win the election and then stay in the job. That's the goal.
So your goal is to successfully campaign and win the election next year to be the district attorney until, I guess it will just be a short term. Instead of an 8-year term, it'll be from 26 to 30.
Right. It would be 2030. They can't restart the term, I guess, for lack of a better term. So it would be a short term until 2030.
Because the regular term for the district attorney, and I guess all of Tennessee is 8 years.
8 years,
terms.
correct.
So, but you wouldn't, if you win, you wouldn't have the, I guess, ability to serve that full term.
It would be the balance of General Stanford's term, yes.
Okay, so, and that takes place next August, is my understanding is correct.
Correct.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be a fun election year next year. Yeah. So, are you ready for a race? Because I'm sure there'll be more people that throw their hat in the ring.
There are, and there's people that already have, and yeah, I'm ready. I've got the experience. I've got the know-how and the stability, that I offer the stability to the office and the leadership. So I'm ready.
So, and if we went and asked the people in your office right now, who should have the job, what do you think that they would say?
I think they would say me. I can't speak for them, but I think they would say me.
Well, so that's it's going to be a pretty exciting time, and so what do you intend to do to make our community a little safer, a little better?
Well, we're gonna partner with the law enforcement. We're gonna restore some relationships that need to be. We're gonna mend some fences that need to be fixed. We're gonna do that right off the get go, and we're gonna work together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch Law and Order, when it comes on, it says the people are represented by two separate but equal groups: the police who investigate crimes and the prosecutors who prosecute crimes. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to working with the police and improve those relationships, as well as try some different approaches to rehabilitating people that are career drug users. If they don't want to get with the program, get better, then maybe it's time for them to go to TDOC.
So we got about 90 seconds. So what's the first thing that you would do if you had this job?
Well, the first thing I'm going to have to do is hire some people, at least 1 or 2 attorneys and 1 or 2 victim witness coordinators. But before that, like I said, I'm going to reach out to the law enforcement. We're going to mend some fences, and we're going to get back to the process of prosecuting crimes. And I fully intend to do that vigorously, fairly, always with a kind heart, but basically to be an iron hand in a velvet glove, meaning those that can be fixed, fix them, help them. Those that can't be rehabilitated, then send them off to prison.
All right. Well, Matt, you've been a great guest, and I appreciate your time. And you guys heard it here first that Matt wants to be the next district attorney of the 31st Judicial District.
Definitely.
Well, Matt, thanks again, and I hope that that you and I can have another sit-down conversation, and we can keep on with this discussion.
Hopefully after I'm appointed. That would be great.
All right. You've been listening to Behind the Mic on 97.7 WBMC, and we will be back next week with Brittany Davis, the director of McMinnville Electric System.
Just to watch him die.